Okay, have a treat for you today. Got a shoot here with Alanah Yukich. She is a fantastic model and track athlete from San Antonio, Texas. We did a brand shoot together with another model with wardrobe provided by Deja Chanel, makeup by Evie G, but that was earlier. And after the shoot, she had a little sort of fitness vibe that she wanted to do with me, and we had maybe 15 minutes left of studio time. I had already packed everything up. She was ready to go and she was ready to do it. So, made it happen. I just threw up my Godox 8400 with my Glow 36-inch pear snap, one light, just threw it up there on whatever setting it was on before. and we had a reflector just to provide maybe some shadow fill on the left side. And we just went for it. She was determined to do this. So luckily, I had my camera recorder on, my little recording monitor, and you get to see the entire shoot from inside my camera. And I'll throw up the final edited shots that I liked during the shoot as we go here. And then after this shoot, I'll go through and I'll edit one of the shots and just show you kind of how I went about doing it. And just did some few basic edits. So I'll show you, basically how I edited each of these shots and take you through how I do that. And then I'll provide the actual image. I'll link it below. So if you want to follow along with me and use the same image, you can. So, all right, enjoy the show. Okay, so let's take a look at this shot. And you can see she's facing away from the light here. The light was actually to her, well, her left. If you're looking straight on, it's to the right. And there's a reflector over on the left side over there. So we are a little underexposed. The shadows are underexposed here. So let me just go back and show you how I went about editing these. The highlights are there. You can see on the nose and the body, we've got the highlights and the shadows. Usually the first thing I do is I lift those highlights a little bit, right? Bring those up just like that. I don't even touch the exposure first. I wait. And then I bring up those shadows, right? There we go. Now we're getting in the ballpark, right? And then I'll go and I'll touch the exposure and maybe bring that up a little bit there. And that kind of gets us in the ballpark. Now, what I notice is I think we had some pretty good ambient daylight in here. I usually, what was my aperture set at? 5.6. That does let a tiny little bit of ambient light in. It is a little bit warm. I can see I was shooting, my white balance was set on flash, which is 5600 Kelvin. It's set to 6650 here. I'm going to go to 5600. That's going to warm it up a little bit. I might even bring it down. I know this room. I've shot in it before. I can't remember. I think the overheads were turned off, but every time I shoot in this room, I end up bringing it down to 4900. That may be a little bit blue, but I'm kind of liking that vibe here. So it's to taste, really. 5600 looks pretty good. It still kind of looks a little warm there to me. So I'm gonna go back down to 4900. And I'm going to bring the exposure up maybe just a little bit more. And there we go. That's about what I think I want to see it at, around there. So you can see I've got the room in here. I've got her framed up on the paper pretty good. Let's do the Instagram crop here and just see original 4x5 by 8x10. And let's just see if she's going to even fit on there. That's pretty good. Just like that. And we'll kind of straighten out the lines a little bit. Let's just start there. And I'm going to adjust her just a little bit more. I think that's going to be pretty close, just like that. So that's pretty good. I'm going to I usually bring up the contrast just a tiny bit. And I bring the texture down to around minus 20 to minus 30. Just has a skin softening effect. I do that really pretty much on every portrait I do. It sort of has a skin softening effect without reducing the clarity, right? And then the vibrance I'll bring up to, around 18, 20, 17, somewhere around there should be good. And I come down then and adjust the sharpening. I just bring it up to 70, 80. Hold down the alter option and choose the masking button and bring that over, slide it to the right. It's always around 90 every time. So we're pretty good there. Maybe just try to bring up the shadows just a little bit more, about right there. Exposure maybe just a little bit more right there. And we're good. That's got me, my basic edits about where I want them. So let's open this then in Photoshop. Okay, so real easy to do. I'm going to do this on the background layer. I do this all the time. You might want to do a new layer, like a Control J will duplicate the background layer if you want to do it there. Choose your rectangular marquee tool. That's this one up here. Just come up here and outline that area to the left that you want to fill in. Right click, choose fill. Make sure it says content aware, hit OK. And just like that, it fills it in. Super easy. Do the same thing on the other side. Come down to about right there. Right click, choose fill, content aware, hit OK. And just like that, we're almost done, really. I'd like to kind of even this out a little bit over here. The details matter. Little things like this, I can see like a little area here where the paper maybe had a little wrinkle in it right there. The paper's not even there. It's little things like that that you do to your image that make them look clean. When people look at them, they go, man, that image is really clean. Well, I want to get them clean right out of camera, but they don't always come out that way. So whatever you can do in post to clean them up, do it. The little details add up and they make a difference. Okay. So if you're in doubt, just do it, clean it up. So it's real easy to do. Choose the quick selection tool, which is this one right here, and then choose select subject. Okay. Always does a really good job of selecting the subject these days. You can go in and select and mask and refine that selection if you want to. I'm going to leave it like it is. I'm going to right click on the selection. I'm going to choose select inverse. That just selects the background. So she's not selected. Anything I do here, it's not going to bleed into her. It's just going to be on the background. Okay. Go and select your paintbrush tool. We're still on this new layer. If you want to do a blank layer, you can. Let's do that. New blank layer, just so we can paint on it and have it on a separate layer. Okay. Make sure your paintbrush tool is chosen. Opacity 100%, flow 5%. Make sure that your hardness is set to 0%. Very important, or you'll get streaks. Okay. All right. Use the right and left bracket keys to lower or increase the size of your brush. I usually make it kind of big here because I'm going to do some swipes over here on this area, right? Those are the bracket keys next to the P key. Make sure, let's bring the flow to like 20%, okay? 20%. Opacity 100%. And let's hold down the Alt or Option key and sample a nearby color, what you think you want to make, to fill it in with. This is a little lighter than this, so I'm going to grab a color maybe right there in between. And then I'm just going to start lightly painting, okay? Just real light, just like that. And I'm done. Just like that. I've cleaned it up. It's so easy to do. Other little things you can do. I don't know if you can see it, but if you go hold down the space bar and they'll give you the little hand there, and then you can drag the canvas up and move it around, right? You see that? That's dirt. That's dirt on the paper. Don't leave it there. The little things add up. Clean it up, okay? If you can, get clean paper to start out with, and that'll make your post life easier, right? It just gets dirty from them walking on it. There's nothing you can do about it, really. One little trick is to, if you think about it, bring a little towel with you and wet it, put it beside the paper, and then have the model step on it and wipe their feet before they get onto the paper. Sometimes the paper gets wet, but it doesn't get dirty or as dirty. So a little trick there, okay? So you want to clean this up. Maybe I come over here and I choose the spot healing brush tool, and maybe I come over here and I clean up some of these little things, right? Just come in here. You can do that. Some of these things. Maybe it would be easier here since there's so many little things here and it's kind of tedious. Get these little marks here. Sometimes I can't tell if it's a mark on my screen or if it's a mark on the paper. Sometimes it's a mark on the screen. I keep trying to get it over and over and it's not going anywhere, and I realize it's dirt on the screen. All right. So we still got her, or the background selected, right? So anything we do here, it's not going to bleed into her. Let's go back to our paintbrush tool. Left bracket key makes it a little bit smaller. Maybe let's take some swipes here. Hold down the Alt or Option, grab a color right there. Just select a color. Maybe just start kind of, see that? Kind of fills in those areas. And you're at 20%, so you don't really see it, but you are filling those areas in, right? And that's pretty good. Let me grab maybe that color there, and we can kind of blend that right there a little bit. And I think we've kind of cleaned it up here. Let's see. Control 0 recenters the canvas. Control minus. And, I might want to grab this area right up here. Control Z will reselect. Control Z is just undo. If I happen to unselect everything and I want to go back and reselect, I can hit Control Z till it selects it again, right? Go back to my paintbrush tool. Maybe kind of grab this right here, blend that just right there a little bit. And we're done. The shadows are cool. I like that. It adds depth. You've got a gradient here. It's lighter here, darker as it goes up. And just like that, we'll Control S to save. And we've cleaned up the image and it looks really good. So that is it. I really love this image. I'll probably post this one on my Instagram. Again, clean up your images. Do everything you can to get the background clean. If it's wrinkly, I have videos on that. Just go the extra mile to make a really clean image. Now, some other things you can do here is dodge and burn. I didn't really do fitness lighting per se here. I threw up one light. Fitness lighting, you light It's not like portrait lighting. You know, you're concentrating on the face. Fitness lighting, you're concentrating more on the body and getting those shadows and those ripples, the shadows and the muscles, right? We were in a hurry. I just threw a light up here. So per se, I didn't really do fitness lighting, but if I wanted to do a burn layer here, now you can look up how to create a burn layer. Real easy. I'll do it from scratch just for you guys. Okay. So we'll do a new curves layer. So come down here to your adjustment layers right here, this little semicircle, and do a curves. Okay. Take this line here, click right in the middle and just drag it down. You see that? See how it makes the picture darker? Burning, that's darkening, right? I want to burn those muscles in there, make them darker right there. So that's burning, but I don't want it on the whole image. So I've got a mask here, just real quick. I'm not going to go into the whole theory behind it, but I'm going to select this white part, this mask, and hit Control I, and that turns it off. So now what I want to do is paint white on this black to reveal that darkening effect. So I'll go over to my paintbrush, make sure that we're still on the hardness 0%. Flow, very important, bring it down to about 5%, 3 to 5%, okay? Use your left and right bracket keys. Make sure your brush color here is set to white, so you can hit this little back and forth arrow to go back and forth. Make sure you're painting white onto this black mask. Make sure this is selected, okay? Now we can zoom in, come in here. If we want to kind of darken these areas, you see that? See how I'm just kind of going over the darker areas? Just like this, right? And I'm accentuating those. And that is going to help define those muscles there. You make the brush a little bit bigger, it's a darker spot there. And then we can come here. You can dodge and burn the skin too, not just the muscles, but yeah. So that's really nice. Come up here, do the arms as well. Resize your brush as you go, right? And I'm just darkening the dark areas, right? I'm not hitting the light areas, okay? Darkening the dark areas. Come down here, maybe make that a little bit darker. So I'll turn it off. See that? See what a difference that makes? Okay. So then I can do a dodge layer. Come down here to your adjustment layers, do another curves. What am I going to do? I'm going to bring this curve up and it's going to make it brighter, right? So I'm going to come down here to this mask right here, hit Control I to turn it off. And then I will paint white on this mask to reveal the dodge effect. So come here, make sure again your flow is like 3 to 5%. And adding the light in between the where I darken makes them contrast more, right? It makes the darkers look dark and the lighters look light. So the lighters, you knew what I meant. We can even come here on the face a little bit too. Get some of that as well if we want to. But get in between some of these spots where you burned, right? Right here. And that increases the contrast between them. And then we can come here, right? Make that a little lighter. Look at that. Right there. Make that a little lighter. Just like that. Okay. Control 0 to recenter the camera. So I'm going to group these together. Hold down the Shift key and select both of them and do a Control G. That puts them in a group, and then I can turn the group off. There's a without dodge and burn. There's a with dodge and burn. You see the difference? Without, with. Not that she needs it. She has great definition. I mean, she's a world-class athlete, but my lighting really wasn't set up to provide that contrasty lighting that I needed for a fitness shoot. We were in such a hurry. We had 15 minutes. It was unexpected, but so it was one light. So if you want to enhance that definition like this, you can. Now, maybe it's a little bit too much. I'll bring the opacity down to maybe about 80% and do it just like that. Okay. Save it. And we're done. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We had a lot of fun doing this shoot. I will link this file down below to a Dropbox link so you can download this TIFF file and you can open it in Photoshop and follow along. Thanks for watching, and I hope you liked the video.